everybody. Welcome to Rocky the Dog Show. This is your host, Joe Vinny. I want to talk about I was homeless and I'm in a wheelchair now with above the knee amputation for my left leg from a car accident 11 years ago. Crippled me. I'm not a candidate for prosthetic leg. Many reasons. But I stood in quite many shelters as I was waiting for my settlement from when I was not, first got in the car accident. My legs cut off. I have no more ability to earn income. And this is catastrophic to me. How am I going to support myself? Well, Social Security stepped in, Medicaid stepped in. Medicaid in some states, I went from California to Arizona to New Mexico to Colorado to Georgia to Florida to New York to uh, Texas, uh, many different places in Texas. Um, and the worst Medicaid system, being in all those states, is by far Florida. Florida sucks. Ron DeSantis, you might be doing good for the working class, but your Medicaid program doesn't have one white doctor working for it. And I went to so many doctors, and not one white doctor in any of the offices, and we're all Medicaid doctors. Isn't that funny? How they hired all non-white people to be Medicaid doctors. But if I would pay for a primary care visit because I needed some medications that only a primary care would could dispense, if I paid the $140 for the visit, then I could get any prescription written for me I want. Isn't that funny how Medicaid doctor, when you go in, it says, we don't dispense controlled substances. So the Ritalin I've been on since 10 years old, and I'm on Adderall now. I've been on this my whole life. It's been 50 years. And I've been on this medicine. And, to have a sign when you come in a doctor's office saying they're not going to dispense those medicines because you're a Medicaid doctor is kind of a, you know, I don't want to use the word racist because the word racist is definitely being used in the hiring of doctors for Florida Medicaid. There's no white doctors. I went to so many doctors out there. I probably went to 15 doctors, being safe, maybe 20. And I didn't see one white doctor. And I seen these signs in all the Medicaid offices I went to. We don't dispense controlled substances. So right away, they're not going to give you a pain pill for 3 shoulder surgeries, to have, surgery on my hips, or, 4 right knee surgeries, have eye surgery. Uh, just you know, I tore so many tendons and biceps, and every part of my body is dismantled. You know, I broke my chest. I fractured my whole costal cartilage is disaligned. I cracked my chest in half and didn't get wired together properly at all. Properly. And, to say now, the homeless shelter I was staying in California. So let me get to the state of California. I was in, there's 4 main shelters. There's one in Orange County, California, in Santa Ana, the bus terminal, which holds about 450, approximately to 500 people. Then there's these 3 shelters that are in downtown Los Angeles. They have not built a new shelter. Don't let them bullshit you. They haven't. I'm totally up on it. Okay, so all the billions of dollars that goes for the homeless out there is all being misallocated. It's all being misappropriated. It's all being misspent, and people are lining their pockets off it. It's a big effing scam. But here's that's the scam on the higher level, where these people got a grip on our finances in Congress and Senate, and the Pentagon, Department of Defense, the different agencies. They have this Social Security Administration. They have this advantage over us, to being a certain echelon of people. Now, the people I was with at the shelter in Orange County were, I'd say, 60% white. No, maybe 50, maybe 50% white. The other 50% was a mixture between Mexican and black. Um, at least they housed white people. I've been in shelters where literally I waited there the first person in the morning. I watched them take black and Hispanic people because that's who was working behind the desk, and then come and after sitting there from 6:30 in the morning, sleeping outside the gate, mind you, with my wheelchair, with my shoe behind my head as a pillow, to be the first in line, only to be told at 4:30, sorry, there's no beds for you. You're racist because you let everybody in that wasn't white. I know what you did. And so don't look, the racist games gets played from both ends. All right, there's some racist whites, there's racist blacks, there's racist Mexican. In a way, we're all racist in a sense, a little bit ourselves. Because I'll tell you what, if they came and said we're going to wipe out the white race or the black race, check a box to what race you want wiped out. I am definitely checking the black box because I don't want my race wiped out. If it's in between us and the blacks, sorry, buddy. So race does come into play in a lot of situations. But there's a lot of reverse racism, and starting to get called out with this administration. But the point I was want to make in this video is there's so many people that are on food stamps. I mean, every single person in these shelters were all on food stamps. Everyone. I would ask them, you get food stamps, you get food stamps. I was, asking so many homeless questions to these people. How long you been homeless? Where have you stood before? What are those shelters like? And there's a couple other shelters, and one was in Anaheim. That's an overnight shelter. They kick you out at like 6:30 in the morning or 6 in the morning. You're out. Care if it's pouring rain or not, you're out. Well, and why don't they let people stay in the building and make phone calls and get a home base and oh, because people need to be out looking for a job. Well, listen, once you go on a job interview, you can't go to another job interview because the way it works today is called by appointment only. Oh, do you have an appointment, Mr. Mafucci? Do you have an appointment, Mr. Kimball? Do you have an appointment, Miss Salas? No, sorry, you can't see the manager. So it goes by appointment only. So that's a bullshit. If the shelter's open all day, they should let people stay there because people's tax money is paying for an all-day shelter. All right, some people need to stay there all day to get their crap together. Once you're down that low, it's almost impossible to get pulled out of homelessness. If somebody else is pulled out of homelessness and watched this video, please comment in the video below. I will look up your comments on TikTok, on Instagram, on Rumble, on YouTube, and Facebook. So you can find me on Rocky the Dog Show, uh, and then you can find me on Instagram, TikTok. I'm under Joe Mafucci, Joe Maffucci. If you want to watch me on TikTok, TikTok banned me from their platform, so did YouTube. So if I would have known what I know now in the beginning, if somebody would have put me up on point, shame on the other podcasters for not, warning you. Hey, if you let me tell you something, you think you have free speech till you get on TikTok or YouTube, then you find out you don't have free speech at all. All right. So if anybody would want to write their president and let them know YouTube and TikTok are still with their pulling their censor bullshit, um, that'd be appreciated. You could write the White House about it because they haven't changed with these community guidelines violations. The censorship is all it is. Um, but if you say things on the left side of the parameter, leaning left, leading that type of ideology, woke ideology, oh, you're fine. But speak conservative kind of ideology, Christian ideology, you're not fine. Talk about January 6th, talk about the withdrawal from Afghanistan, talk about uh, certain other topics, COVID, the topics that are off out of bounds. And they just dropped in a warrant for Chris Cuomo, not Chris Cuomo, the other Cuomo, the one that the Cuomo brother that was the governor of New York that got kicked out for being an a-hole. They just serving criminal indictments on him now for bribery and other charges. So believe me, if they got those indictments on him, the feds work a very different way than the state works. The feds get notified of fraud. Then what they do is start to monitor through either through the airwaves, the internet, or providers, or YouTube. They get your social media, they get your data, start to be collected because now you're possibly in a criminal fraud ring. So that means everybody connected to you is getting their shit, rung up too. But there's so many people that were in the shelters that could work and just won't work. But the second thing is there's not that many jobs. You know how many Mexicans are in California? And I'm not being racist; it's a fact. The Mexicans dominate most of that area, and there is a reverse racism going on in California. It is because listen, in those areas where I was one of the only white people, and the Skid Row area. There was maybe two other white people I might have seen, or three white people in that area. And I'm talking an 18 by 18 block area. There wasn't steady homeless white people. I was one of the only steady homeless white people that I knew of. There was a couple others, but there wasn't many at all. And to say that there's no white people looking for beds, that's crazy because there's about 175,000 homeless people in California. Don't let them fool you. Oh, there's only 70,000. Bullshit. I was out there. No way there's a 70,000. Sorry. They're probably 175 is a conservative number. But what do we do about people that you, I need the system because, listen, I've worked as a bartender. I didn't report my tips. My fault. Shame on me, right? If I had to make these decisions, if I was more informed in the beginning of my, uh, you know, going into life, it would have been helpful to have this information. Like, there's no free speech on YouTube or TikTok, so watch what you're saying there. Um, you don't talk about FISA, don't talk about January 6th, don't talk about COVID, don't talk about Afghanistan withdrawal. If you talk about, you stay away from those subjects on TikTok and YouTube. If you speak about them, I promise you, you will get what's called a community guidelines violation. If you continue to talk like that, they will give you a strike and shut your channel down like they did me. I got my TikTok channel shut down 3 times. The fourth time, they wouldn't put it back up. Even when I'm using this computer, it's registering from an IP address that my phone, when I'm trying to insert from my phone, it's got my IP address from my phone. It's not letting me insert the videos. So, and I changed the name of my podcast, to see if that could even go away. It doesn't. So they monitor you a lot more than you want to know. And that's the truth, what I told you right now. And that's how hard they monitor me. And I'm nobody, but I was speaking about subjects that are off base to those platforms. And I think I'm a good podcaster. I check all the facts that before I talk a bunch of crap on a podcast show. I make sure that I got my facts in order so no one can go back and go, oh, that didn't happen, or that person didn't say that. You know, there's a lot of topics that you could go over: National Defense Authorization Act, Patriot Act, FISA, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. There's so many things you can touch on, but you got to be researched to be able to speak about them. Enhanced interrogation, um, different stuff that you know before you podcast about it. Maybe you should do a little more than read a paragraph on Google about it. You should read the House bill, some of it at least. You can't read through 13,600 pages, but you know, those bills are that long too, believe it or not. Uh, yeah, but I get offended when I see people, even in a wheelchair, an electric wheelchair that got 2 legs. I get a little pissed off because I got denied my electric wheelchair when I really needed one. They denied me, and I had no prosthetic leg. And I see the people in these wheelchairs that got 2 legs and get up and they can walk, and then they got these electric wheelchairs, but yet you denied me when I can't walk. It didn't make any sense till they finally realized that I was not going to be a candidate on Medicaid for a prosthetic limb. Although they made me one, I couldn't fit in it. It's too painful, too many nerves exposed. It just took anyway. It's the way it went in my life. Sometimes things go the way they go, man. Life gave me a curveball when I got in that car accident, and gave me a curveball in a sense where I got back with God. I moved to a safe area. Thank God I moved to Brookings, South Dakota. I hate it up here. I hated it because it's so cold. I friggin' hate the cold, and it's so damn cold even today. We're on May 21st. It's friggin' cold. I'm going to end this podcast because I got to call my doctor's office. All right. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. It's called Taking Advantage of Benefits. Take care, guys. God bless.